Okay, so before we begin, I want to address the comments that are going to say, well, you didn't redesign anything, so what's the point? Well, to that, I'll say is the point is you can actually redesign something without changing the overall concept, because otherwise I'll be reinventing the wheel, which isn't the point I'm trying to do with this video. So with that said, please enjoy, and I will see you next time. Sonic model. A model that's been around since I was a kid, first appearing in Shadow the Hedgehog, and since then, they've used it for almost every mainline game, but very little tweaks over time. But at this point, I think we can all agree, even if you're not in the Sonic community, that this model has kind of overstayed its welcome. I won't go too deep into it because the fans do a good job at tearing this model apart, but in short, for people who don't know, just bland expressions and just overall the lack of using the model to its full potential. Because it's not a bad model. We've seen the fans use this model to how it's supposed to its full potential. Now with that in mind, I'm kind of bringing on the question, what if? Just what if Sega were to redesign the Sonic cast? I'm not saying like reinvent the wheel like Sonic Boom or that horrible nightmare Sonic from the first movie trailer, But just, I don't know, make new models basically. Which is the purpose of this video. I'm gonna try to make my own renditions. I'm not saying Sega has to, but if they were to, this is overall stuff I would like to see. Now, fair warning, I may redesign some characters entirely, but I'm overall going to try and be faithful to what we have now. So I hope you enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's start off with Sonic himself, shall we? Okay, so out of everybody, I think I spent the most time on Sonic compared to everybody else I'm going to show in this video. Because like, if I were to redesign him slightly, it could just mess up the whole thing entirely. So I tried to keep the overall concept there. I just made a few tweaks. Mainly to his proportions, I kind of added a little bit more classical elements. Like, I don't know, he's a little bit more stubbier from what you see. Like, the body's a bit more rounded, but I try to keep it slim just since he's doing a lot of tricks and stuff. I rounded out the shoes, so it just looks more natural. Like, it looks like he's wearing something, it doesn't look like a metal boot, which is really weird. That's one thing I don't like about the whole modern model. It looks like he's just wearing giant metal boots because the way it's shaped. So I gave it a bit more curvature, which is overall what I did in his design. If you can't tell already, I really like the Toei, the Studio Junio Sonic, so I use that as a base. His hands, overall, I shrunk him a little bit. Not by too much, I want to say. I gave him like a decent amount. If you look closely... hold on, look closely here. I gave him a little bit of a neck. Which, if I'm going to give him a little bit of a neck, then I wanted to do it to everybody just to keep consistency with my designs. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have so far with him. Just to be sure, I added an expression sheet as well. There's another one after this, but this is overall what I've been playing with. I gave him his lightning from the movie since it seems like they're adding that more in the games, especially in Frontiers. Like, there's a direct reference to the first movie when he's using lightning to boost. I added a front-on image, looks like the Toei Sonic or the Sonic CD opening, and overall, I tried to mess around with his eyebrows. This was actually my first draft for the redesign, and I didn't really like where I was going because it did seem a little bit bland to me. So that's why I went with that first rendition. So like, nothing really here, just expressions. And going on to the third ref. This is where I think I did my most experimenting. You see this one in the corner, I made it with more modern proportions, but it didn't really fit right with me. So I just said whatever. That's why I chose this one in the end. I got more expressions. Another thing I did was with the spin dash, I based off the OVA, by the way, is I wanted to play with the idea of squash and stretch with the spin dash. I mean, you see, he has this very rubber hosey design with him. This rubber hosing limbs, proportions. We don't see Sega play with squash and stretch, which they have the potential to do so. Like, come on, you have it right there. The blueprints are right there, Sega. What are you doing? But yeah, other than that, this is overall just me experimenting with these two concept sheets. So with that in mind, let's go on to our next character, shall we? Now, onto the man who single-handedly pissed on the moon and complains to Tails daily how he misses his wife. Dr. Eggman. So at a first glance, it doesn't look like I changed much, which I really didn't. I really like his design, is what I'm trying to say, but I just added little elements to make his outfit look more tech-based. What I like that the movies do is how he has his tech on him 24/7, whether if it's in his gloves or whatever, like a wrist. So what I did in his gloves, I took inspiration by giving that same little tech stuff in his gloves. One thing I really like is how he does that peep 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 with his hands. So I want to emphasize that. As you see on his palm, on his right hand, the buttons have like little buttons at the end where it can be like lasers or whatever. Just imagining all kinds of tech that he has on 24/7. As far as like the buttons on his jacket, I emphasized them more because in Frontiers you see him using it as a way to record logs. Just overall, that's my whole idea. Just making sure he has his tech on him 24/7. I wanted to emphasize that. As far as like the emphasis for the movie, the most I did was I just made the color bigger. That's all I really did. So again, I really liked his design. I think out of everybody, I think he's the only one who animates with his eyebrows because he's wearing sunglasses, so of course you're gonna have to do it. Which if you look closely in the Sonic Forces cutscenes, his eyebrows do animate, just not very well. You know, it's a little bit old, but this image, I actually drew this a while back, but I made a classic version just a while back, and I played with the idea his mustache moving when he emotes. Like when he's sad, his mustache curls down, he's angry, like flares up a little bit. This is basically what I did here. Nothing much. Kind of kept the design the same. Just me goofing off. So with that said, on to the next character, shall we? Out of all the like modern designs that we have right now, I think my favorite one is Tails, really. Not because of bias, but I really do like Tails' design. So I didn't change much with him either. The most I did was I gave him his little hair he has in the back of his head. Because if you look in the older Genesis art, he has like this little strand of hair in like the back of his head, but when they changed the designs in Sonic Adventure, they took it away. And I thought that gave him so much personality, so that's the most I did. I brought that back with him. And the same with Eggman, I gave him his more, I mean, a little bit more tech savvy, but I kind of hit it. The most you can see is on his wrist where his gloves are, is that he has like a little communicator, which I thought was pretty cool. So again, not much with him. Onto the ref sheet. Here's this little ref sheet. Now, one thing I didn't mention this when I showed the Sonic ref sheet is I added emotion with the ears because they're animals. You see certain animals with ears, like with cats. You see a cat, you know, a cat's ears move back, forward, and they want to show emotion or were angry. So I wanted to emphasize that with him and with Sonic as well. So I add that with his expressions. Nothing much. I just want to keep the whole adorable factor that he has. So on to the next character. Okay, so out of everybody, this may be my most controversial choice to redesign. So here's Amy. I try to keep it faithful, so that was my overall goal. So let's talk about the changes. I brought in a bit more classical elements, like for example her eye shape. I made it a bit more vertical compared to Sonic's, because Sonic's shape, it seems a bit more horizontal than vertical if you compare the two. And another thing, one thing I wanted to really do was make it seem like she's a hedgehog, because I found it very weird how, you know, her classic designs, she has like her back spikes, In her modern design, they took it away, so I brought them back, but I made them very small. Show them off. Show them off. I made it very small, and her third spike, I brought it up so her back hair to make her look a bit more hedgehogish. Her bangs, I gave her her bangs for her movie 3 edit end credits scene, so little spoilers there, I apologize. And one thing I did was, since they're going with the whole tarot card route, wait, Amy, I gave her a little belt, a little pouch to put her cards in, because it makes you wonder, when you play as in Frontiers, where is she putting those tarot cards? Is she just summon them? Where do they go? So that's pretty much what I did here. I gave her a little pouch to put her cards in. A little quick edit. I forgot to talk about the dress. So either or, I kind of made it a little bit more frilly just to experiment, because if they're doing the whole tarot card route, I was imagining her to be sort of like the whole magical girl stereotype. So I kind of played with that idea. So if they were to keep the dress the same, it's whatever, honestly. This was just a little test, which I think looks pretty decent in my personal opinion. I drew a little rep sheet with her as well. Again, I probably could have spent a bit more time when I did this redesign, which I really wish I should have. But as you can see here, that's the first draft of the full body. I did profile, and I added a little bit of expression. Again, putting your ears down to show that whole pouty, angry expression. There's a Ch.夜hammer. Down here, I played with the idea of what if her hammer is like powered by chaos energy. Because you know, in the movies, that they have this whole chaos energy thing, so I wanted to bring that in with the design, so you're gonna see a lot of that, fair warning. And again, we got another quick one, Knuckles. I overall like his design. The most I did was I just beefed him up to where he looks a little bit like his movie counterpart, which I think they do it pretty well. Nothing much. I gave him zippers on his shoes. Just I don't know, just added a little bit of a small element of my own. So again, I really like Knuckles' design. It's overall really good. I just beefed him up. Because yeah, he's a strong character. We don't really see that in the current design we have, so that's all I really did. And with that, we're gonna line everybody up. Okay, as you can see, I have Knuckles being the tallest out of all of them. Next to Sonic, afterwards is Amy, then Tails being the shortest. And then we have Eggman just towering everybody. One thing I wanted to emphasize with these designs is more curvature. Because you see him rolling the balls, like rolling down hills and stuff, so I just want to add a bit more curvature with the designs. So that's where you want to take out anything, is that. Which I feel like we lost over the years, especially with the modern models, especially in the muzzle area. Especially on Sonic specifically, if you look at Sonic's modern model, it's very flat to where his muzzle meets his eyes. And I feel like the reason why it's curved originally before is to show that emphasis, to give the illusion of having two eyes, because it's just one big eye. We see one big eye, but having that curved muzzle just gives that emphasis. So again, more curvature with the designs overall. This is definitely not the final. I'm definitely going to go back and retweak, redesign, possibly like rework all that stuff. Let me add on reference sheets, matter of fact, so there might be another video with more characters, of course. So again, if you guys like what you see, you'd like to see more, how would you redesign? Let's start a conversation on this. Because I feel like just the whole modern Sonic model, it might be a dead subject, but the whole, what you want to see in a new modern Sonic model, I feel like that's a lot of potential for that. So again, let's have a chat about it down below in the comments. Let's be civil, by the way. So if you like what you see, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Please check the links down below in the description. I have a Ko-fi and I have a Discord that I'm considering posting. But other than that, everybody take care. So, Mako ne.
Bye bye, everybody.